I welcome everyone to the demo class of Hadoop. So we would start the class with an agenda. So the agenda for this demo class is what is Hadoop, why do we need Hadoop, how Hadoop works, HDFS architecture, what is MapReduce, Hadoop cluster, Hadoop processes, topology of a Hadoop cluster, distinction of Hadoop framework, prerequisite to learn Hadoop. So there may be few new terms which you might not be knowing, but that is not an issue. We'll be exploring each and everything in more detail. So let's start with the first one, that is what is Hadoop. So first of all, Hadoop is an open source framework. Open source framework means this is freely available over internet. So this has been developed by Apache team. It means that on Apache team, this Hadoop software is freely available. You can simply go to Apache website. You can download it from there. You can use it for your own purpose or for your enterprise purpose. You don't need to pay anything for that. The next we have is it is used for distributed processing of large data set. It seems like there are so many technical terms in this line. Distributed processing, large data set. So before we dive into the technical stuff, we can take a layman example so that first of all we should be comfortable with the concept of Hadoop. Later on we can dive into technical stuff anytime. So let me give you some layman example. Suppose there is a school, and in that school there is a principal and there are 10 teachers as well. Now there is a task. The task is of checking 1,000 answer sheet of the students from the school. Now the principal may be qualified enough to do that task. But the thing is, if a single person will try to do the thing by himself, he will take more time. Instead of that, if the principal can distribute the same task among 10 teachers, the same task can be completed in less amount of time. So this is very simple mathematical concept. There are more number of workers, they will take less time to complete your task. So the same concept applies to Hadoop. Instead of doing a big and complex data processing on a single machine, that single machine may be capable of doing that. But the thing is, it will take more time. Instead of that, if we can distribute the task among multiple machines, the same task can be completed in less amount of time. So this is the basic concept of Hadoop. So that's why the third line is Hadoop is used for distributed processing of large data set. The data set, the input data which we want to analyze, that is quite large, and that's why we are not processing that data on a single machine. Instead, we are distributing that processing among multiple machines so that our processing can be completed in less amount of time. So apart from this similarity between the school example and Hadoop, there is one more similarity. In school, principal was not checking the answer sheet, he was simply distributing the task among the teachers. Or you can say that he is the master or he is the controller. Similarly, in our Hadoop, out of multiple machines, one machine is working as master machine and remaining machines are working as slave machines. So you can correlate principal with the master machine and you can correlate teachers with the slave machine. So now master machine is distributing the task among all the slave machines, and slave machines are the actual machine which are processing our data. So this is another similarity. We'll keep on exploring these things with the help of this example, which will help you to understand the concept in more better way. The next we have is it works across cluster of computers using a simple programming model MapReduce. So as I discussed earlier that we are having multiple machines. So a set of multiple machines which are connected to each other on a network. Those multiple machines are known as a cluster of computers and using a simple programming model MapReduce. As I told you that we are processing the data on multiple machines. It means that we need some type of programming which can be executed parallelly on multiple machines at the same time. And that is nothing but MapReduce. So we'll be exploring all these things in more detail in the coming slides. So this was all about what is Hadoop. So we are proceeding to the next slide. So the next we have is, why do we need Hadoop? So before we learn any new technology, we should understand why do we need that. So the first and the most important reason is data is growing faster. Why the data is growing faster? Because we are doing everything on internet nowadays. We are purchasing the products from internet. We are using internet banking. We are browsing the Facebook. Or moreover, when we are going to some suppose departmental store, when we are going to Walmart, those guys are also capturing our details. Let's take an example. Suppose on the weekend you are going to Walmart for purchasing some household items. After purchasing the items, what Walmart has done is they have collected your details. Like this is your customer ID, this is your name, this is the date and time, this product you have purchased, this is the product ID, and the last is total payment, and maybe the mode of payment, how you have made the payment, that may be by cash, that may be by credit card, that may be by the debit card. So these details they have captured. So similarly, they will be capturing the same details for every customer. At the end of the day, they might be having thousands of entries, and you know there are hundreds and thousands of stores of Walmart across the globe. So ultimately, at the end of the day, they may be having millions and billions of records captured for all the customers who have purchased some product from Walmart. If I talk about the data captured for last 5 years, you can't even imagine the size of the data. The data is too large to process on the traditional system. So data is growing faster in any way, and we need to process multi petabytes or terabytes of data. In old days, we were dealing with only MB or GB of data, but nowadays we are dealing with terabytes and petabytes of data. So the performance of traditional application is decreasing. In case you are planning to process this much of data on the traditional system, definitely there will be decrease in performance. Suppose currently total data I'm having is 200 GB and I'm processing it on a single machine. That's fine, that does not create an issue. But after 5 years, when my business will grow up and my data size has increased from 200 GB to 10 terabytes or to 5 petabytes, if still I'm using the same hardware, same system, single machine to process my data, definitely there will be decrease in performance. But this scenario, if I will compare with Hadoop, when I will increase the load in Hadoop, this will not decrease the performance. And how is it possible? This is possible because the number of machines in a cluster is not constant. In the beginning, when I was having less amount of data, I can work with 5 machines of Hadoop cluster. After 5 years, when my business has grown up and my data size has increased, now I'm not bound to work with 5 machines. I can set up a Hadoop cluster of 10 machines, 20 machines, 50 machines, depending upon my requirement. And accordingly, the capacity, the processing power of your Hadoop cluster will increase, and that will be capable of handling that amount of data as well. The next reason we have is failure is expected rather than exceptional. While working on any software or any hardware, we cannot guarantee that the system will not fail. that may fail at any time due to hardware bug, due to software issue, due to power failure, or any other reason. So the thing is, if you are doing everything on a single machine, and suppose you have already completed your 80% of task, and suppose suddenly your system crashed, what will happen now? Whatever processing you had already completed, 80% or 90%, that has been lost. You have to restart your system and you have to re-execute your task. This is a limitation on the traditional system. The same compared with Hadoop will not create such type of issues. Let's take an example. Suppose two teachers are not feeling well. Does it mean that the task of checking 1000 answer sheet will not be completed? No, it's not like that. The task can be still completed with the help of remaining 8 teachers. Yeah, it is true that they might take little more time because the number of teachers are less. The same concept applies to Hadoop. In case you are executing something on your suppose 10 machine of Hadoop cluster and suddenly 3 machines crashed. So your processing can be still completed with the help of remaining available 7 machines. The only difference is it might take little more time, but ultimately your job will be completed. So these are few reasons why do we need Hadoop. We are proceeding to the next slide now. So the next is how Hadoop works. So the Hadoop core consists of two modules. One thing we were discussing previously, that was the processing. The processing of the large amount of data was quite difficult on a single machine, so we had to distribute the task among multiple machines. The same problem may arise for storage. There may be a very big file which cannot be stored on a single machine. So what is the solution for that? So just like we distributed the processing among multiple machines, similarly we can distribute the storage as well. So our file will be stored on multiple machines distributively. So the first part of your Hadoop, which is dealing with the distributed storage, is known as Hadoop Distributed File System, and in short you can call it as HDFS. And the second part, which is dealing with the processing of large data, is known as MapReduce. MapReduce again consists of two parts, mapper and reducer. So what is mapper and what is reducer and what is HDFS? These things we will be exploring in more detail in the coming slides. So let's start with the first one, that is Hadoop Distributed File System, or you can say HDFS architecture. So you can have a look at this diagram. We have a block which says name node. Till now we were using the term master machine and slave machine. But technically in Hadoop terminology, there is no concept of master and slave. They call the master machine as name node and they call as slave machine So in Hadoop terminology, master machine is known as name node and slave machine is known as data node. So only the names are different, the remaining things are same. So this is name node. You can say that this is my master machine. This is backup node, because as the master machine is only one, we should have some backup as well. Just like in school, we have vice principal, so that in case principal is absent, there must be someone who can take care of the responsibilities. So similarly in Hadoop, we have a backup node which can take care of the responsibilities in case your master machine is down. Apart from the master machine and the backup master machine, we have 5 slave machine, or you can say we have 5 data nodes. This is first data node, second, third, fourth, fifth. So ultimately we are having a 7 machine Hadoop cluster. One is master machine, one is backup master machine, and 5 are my slaves. So this is all about HDFS architecture. Now let's discuss about these colorful blocks. What are these colorful blocks? So 3 and 5 total are 15 colorful blocks. So these colorful blocks are nothing but part of your file. Previously, it was a very big file, but somehow that big file would not be stored on a single machine. So what we did is, or you can say what Hadoop did is, Hadoop has splitted this big file into smaller parts. So now the big file which could not be stored on a single machine, now that has been splitted into multiple parts, and these multiple parts can be easily stored on multiple machines. You can have a look. 3 blocks have been stored on first data node. The next 3 blocks have been stored on the second data node. The next 3 blocks have been stored on the next data node. Similarly, every slave machine is participating in the storage, and every slave machine has its own hard drive. This blue drive, this you can see this one. This blue disk means every data node, every slave machine has its own storage. There is no centralized storage in Hadoop. So whatever file you want to copy, suppose that Walmart purchase history, that file will be separated into multiple parts and will be stored across multiple machines. So this is all about your HDFS architecture. One more thing which you can notice over here is this orange block is available on the first data node. This block is again available on the second data node, and this orange block is again available on the third data node as well. What's the meaning of that? Previously, I was telling you that even if 2 machines or 3 machines are down, we can complete our processing. How is that possible? If your data is distributed among multiple machines, and if some machines are down, without that data, how can you complete the processing? So the reason behind that is we keep duplicate data on Hadoop cluster. That is the meaning of keeping this orange block 3 times. Yes, we know that we are wasting the storage. We know that. But the thing is, when you are working with 50 machines and suppose only 2 machines are down, you will not be able to do the processing. Because suppose I have to find out the customer who has purchased, or you can say who has spent the largest, highest amount on that particular day. In that case, if 2 machines are down, I can't tell you the name of the customer, because it may be possible that the customer detail is available on those machines only which are down. So just because few machines are down, I don't want to stop my processing. I still want to complete my processing, and that is only possible if you keep duplicate data. So how many copies you want to keep, that is completely in our hand. By default, Hadoop keeps 3 copies. You can see this one. First machine, second machine, third machine. Every machine contains the orange block. So by default, 3 copies of data is kept in your HDFS. But as I told you, that is completely in our control. In case you say that don't waste the storage, keep the 1 copy, we can do that. And if someone is saying that there is no limitation on storage, please keep at least 5 copies. We can do that as well. So this is all about HDFS architecture. We are proceeding now to the next part of Hadoop, that is MapReduce. So as we discussed previously, that MapReduce is the processing part of your Hadoop. So MapReduce plays a key role in Hadoop framework. Why it's playing a key role? Because storage is not a big deal. Storage, you can arrange some portable hard disk, you can increase the storage capacity of your machine, or you can use some centralized storage, something like this. Storage is not that much big thing, but processing large amount of data, terabytes, petabytes of data, processing millions and billions of rows is a very big thing. That's why it's playing very important role in Hadoop framework. So it is a programming model for writing the applications. So MapReduce program is capable of executing on multiple machines parallelly at the same time, and that's why it allows us to rapidly process large amount of data. So MapReduce, which consists of 2 parts, mapper and reducer. So will be explaining these things with the help of the school example again. So the principal distributed the task among 10 teachers, and the task was checking of 1,000 answer sheet. It means that one teacher is responsible for checking only 100 answer sheets. Similarly, next teacher will also be checking the 100 answer sheet and will be preparing the result for the same. Similarly, every teacher will be doing the same. At the end, every teacher is ready with the 100 students result. Now the principal may say that I have distributed the task among you, that's a different thing, but it does not mean that you are preparing, you can say you are giving me 10 different results. I don't want that. I need only one consolidated result for me. It means that one teacher has to consolidate that result into a single file. So the first part of the task that individual teacher was doing is known as mapper. You can say checking of 100 answer sheet by each teacher is known as mapper. And the last activity, one teacher will be taking the result from each teacher and will be consolidating that into a single file so that he can hand over the complete result of the school to the principal. That consolidation activity is known as reducer. So coming to the Hadoop now, whatever task the master machine has distributed among the slave machine, and every machine is doing its own part. That processing is known as mapper. And once mapper is done, after that one machine that will be selected by master machine, that machine will be fetching the intermediate result from all the mapper, will be consolidating that, and this activity, this processing is known as reducer. If you need something type definition, so mapper is a function that processes input data to generate intermediate output data. Why it's intermediate output? Because this is not the final output. So reducer will be merging all the intermediate data from all the mappers and generating the final output data. So this is all about mapper and reducer. So we are proceeding to the next slide now. So the next is Hadoop cluster. A Hadoop cluster consists of multiple machines. Depending upon your requirement, you can set up a Hadoop cluster of 5 machines, of 10 machines. Let me tell you, Yahoo has set up a Hadoop cluster of 2000 machines. And what they are doing is, they are analyzing the Yahoo mails to detect the spam mails. Ultimately, this is again analysis of text data only. Anyways, depending upon your requirement, number of machine you can decide. Coming to the type of machine. So we have one name node, that is our master machine, and master machine is neither participating in storage nor it's participating in processing. This is only for controlling the things. This is only for coordinating with all the slave machines. We have a secondary name node, that is the backup of my name node. In case my name node, that is my master machine, if that is down, there must be someone who can take care of the things. And remaining all the machines are my slave machine, which are technically known as data nodes. So this is all about Hadoop cluster. Proceeding to the next slide now. So the next is Hadoop processes. So when you install Hadoop on your system, let me tell you, I have installed Hadoop on my system and I will be showing everything to you practically through the screen sharing. But I think that will be practical more for me and less for you. I mean to say that you should install Hadoop on your system, and you don't have to do it by yourself. I will be taking 2 detailed class for installation of Hadoop on your machine. So once the Hadoop is installed on your system, there will be some services, there will be some daemons, or you can say some processes will be running on your system. So let's check it out. What are the processes which will be running on your system and what are their responsibilities? So the first process is name node. You might be getting confused that previously the name of the machine was name node and now the name of the process is again name. So let me tell you, name node is actually a process only, but as it is running on master machine, the master machine is also known as name. Anyways, name node is a process which runs on master machine and it is responsible for handling the storage part of your Hadoop, that is HDFS part. The next is job tracker, that is also running on master machine and it is taking care of the processing part of your Hadoop, that is MapReduce. The next process is data node, which is running on slave machines, every slave machine. So you can say that data node and name node both looks correlated. Yes, they are related because both the process are working for your storage part only, with the difference that name node is running on master machine and data node is running on slaves. Similarly, we have the next process, task tracker, which is related to job tracker. Both the process are working for your MapReduce, you can say your processing part, with the only difference that job tracker is running on the master machine and task tracker is running on the slave machine. So this is all about the different services, different processes running on your machine. I have highlighted the same with the help of this diagram. We have a centralized box, which is my master machine, on which name node process and job tracker, which are my master process, both process are running. We have a secondary name node as well, which is just my backup. Apart from these two machines, we have 5 slave machines, and on every slave machine, data node process and task tracker process is running. So this is all about the different processes running on master machine and on slave machine. So the next we have is distinction, how Hadoop framework is different from the other frameworks. So the first is simple. Simple means as far as the software is concerned, you can go to Apache website and you can download it from there and you can use it. As far as hardware is concerned, you can use whatever PC or laptop you are having at your home. You don't need to purchase any hardware or any server from the market. And the last is it allows you to write the MapReduce code which is capable of executing on multiple machines. Hence you can process large amount of data on multiple machines. So this is about simplicity. The next is about reliability. Because Hadoop is running on commodity hardware means the simple PC or laptop, whatever you are having at your home. So it can face some issues, some malfunctioning, but that is not an issue. Master machine is there to help you. Suppose initially your master machine has distributed the task among 10 machines and every machine is doing its own part, and suddenly 3 of machine crashed. So you don't have to worry about that. Your master machine will detect that 3 machines have been failed and it will reschedule the task on remaining available machine which contains the duplicate data. So scheduling of the task initially, then finding out which machines are down and rescheduling of tasks. These things are properly taken care by Hadoop. So this is about reliability. The next is scalability. As discussed earlier, that we are not bound to the number of machines. We can increase or decrease the number of machines at any time in Hadoop cluster. If you say that your jobs are taking time, you want to increase the performance, we can increase the number of machines in your Hadoop cluster. On the other hand, if you say that I don't need 10 machines because my jobs are getting completed in pretty less amount of time, so we can decrease the number of machines from your cluster. That is not an issue. So this is all about distinction, how the Hadoop framework is different from other frameworks. So we are done with the technical introduction of Hadoop, but we are still left with the last but not the least slide, that is prerequisite. So the first requirement is Linux based operating system. So you may be joining today's demo class from Windows, but let me tell you, Windows does not support Hadoop. You can't install Hadoop on your Windows. So for installing Hadoop and for doing the practical, for learning Hadoop, we need Linux based operating system. That may be Mac operating system, that may be Red Hat, or that may be Ubuntu. Why I have highlighted Ubuntu in a different color? Because in case you don't have any of these operating system, Ubuntu will help you. First of all, Ubuntu is an open source, and secondly, we can install Ubuntu in a virtual machine. It means that you don't need to delete your Windows. On the Windows, we will be installing a virtual machine, and inside virtual machine, we will be installing the Ubuntu. So in case you are having Mac OS or Red Hat, you can go ahead with that. You don't need to install Ubuntu. In case you are not having these operating system and you are working on Windows, in that case, I will be sending you an email which contains the step to install Ubuntu on your system. And this is not more than half an hour one-time activity. So this is about the first and the most important requirement. The second is Java 1.6 or higher version is required. So that is again an open source which can be installed within 5 minutes. The next is disk space is required for your storage part and RAM is required for your processing part. But that is not an issue, because if someone is having any PC or laptop, definitely he will be having disk space and RAM. So that is not an issue. The next requirement is a cluster of computers. As per this diagram, let me go back. As per this diagram, you may be thinking that we need 7 machines for learning Hadoop, but that's not true. For learning purpose, you can even install Hadoop on a single machine. You can say that your own machine will be working as a master machine, as well as your own machine will be working as a slave machine. So all the master process, that is name node and job tracker, will be running on your own machine, as well as all the slave process, that is data node and task tracker, will be running on your own machine. So logically this is possible to make your machine as master as well as slave. So this is all about prerequisite. Now coming to the topics which I will be covering throughout this 1 month training. So basically we will be concentrating on Hadoop. So approximate 60% of 1 month time will be spending on Hadoop. After that we will be covering HBase, Hive, Pig and Scoop. So what we can do, after today's demo class, I can send you today's PPT. I can send you the course content so that you can go through that. So with this slide, we are done with the introduction of Hadoop.